Alright, hi everyone. Welcome to another episode of Off the Mark. Today we are covering Attack of the Clones. My Rothco, they don't really call it a JPC 1.0 clone, but that's what it is.
The lightweight plate carrier or
That's
something
exactly
like
what it's called,
that?
I
Okay.
think. I mean, we can pull it up and add that to the link below, because honestly, I think we might actually recommend this for now.
Yeah, so he has the Rothco lightweight plate carrier, and I have the CryePrecision jumpable plate carrier.
1.0, not the
One,
2.0.
yeah, 1.0, which we're going to get into it, but honestly, as far as clones go, that's a good one.
We were very surprised at not only our initial assessment, which if you're watching this, you probably saw the first video. If not, we'll have a link to that below of my first impressions on it. Just of how this kind of felt and first putting on and like how it works. And now at a month in, there will be another video on just kind of how I've been wearing it, working it with it, that kind of thing. But it's really impressed me so far. And now that Big Sarge has got the chance to actually take a look at it,
compare it directly with mine,
which this is one of those times where it might actually be worth it to get a knockoff and work on training with that until you can afford the better version of it.
This might not be a buy once, cry once situation.
Yeah.
Some would say. All right. So, right off the bat, we have the CryePrecision JPC 1.0 versus the Rothco lightweight plate carrier. First thing I notice when I take a look at it is the material difference. Now, mine is a little bit faded and worn because it is old. I have had it for over a year now, using it on and off at military training events. And I also had purchased it used from a buddy who he gained a lot of weight and decided that it was easier to buy a new plate carrier than lose the weight. So I'm not the first owner, and I've had it for over a year. And this thing has held up fantastically. But when I compare it to the lightweight plate carrier from Rothco, the material is slightly different, and that means it holds the dye for the multicam camouflage pattern a little bit differently. This, to me, looks probably like 100% nylon, whereas mine looks like it's some kind of nylon blend, or it's possible that the stitching method itself is different. But either way, the material appears different, and if you look on the inside of my plate carrier where it's not so faded, it holds the colors just a little bit differently as well.
What? Go back there so I can get a better look at that. So I can zoom in a little bit on that.
So we can direct compare.
Yep.
All right, and this lighting makes it look a little strange in the camera, I think.
We can't fix that. Sorry for the bad lighting, guys. We're not
working with what we got.
It's currently night, and this
our
is what
budget
we
is
have.
0. All right.
We spent our budget on ammo today.
Yeah. All right. So next thing I've noticed is the cummerbund and the shoulder pieces. So Mark's shoulder pieces are a coyote brown, whereas the real thing comes with multicam. And then this material here is more nylon on Mark's, whereas mine is this rubberized anti-slip material that I don't know what it's actually called, but I've heard it called Squadron, whatever that means. And then the cummerbund, Mark's is tan 499, which is the Army's undershirt and equipment camouflage pattern, or not camouflage pattern, but color with the OCP camouflage pattern, whereas mine is true multicam. And that applies for pretty much everything. These extra pieces right here to change out your cummerbund type. Mine is multicam, Mark's is not. But all of the pieces are there. I mean, you've got the same magazine retention pull tabs, just mine are multicam and his are not. You've got the same pocket for admin purposes or whatnot, including the little elastic piece on the inside. The same 3 magazine carrier on the front with the same Velcro closure and the same elastic on the inside. If you open up the plate carrier and look on the inside, you've got the same mesh material for better ventilation on the top here. It's all there. The major differences are the actual color of the Velcro pieces in some areas. Mine's a little bit more tan, his is a little bit more green, but who cares about that? Let's be real. And then the inside here is Coyote instead of more multicam like mine. Again, who cares about that? Let's be real.
It's on the inside. Nobody should be seeing that anyway.
Exactly. But yeah, so real quick, just to talk about it, we have one hard plate in each and one soft plate in each. So they are a direct apples to apple comparison. And weight wise, the real thing is it's a touch lighter, but it's not much.
Also, mine's a large and yours is a medium.
Yes, there is also that. And then the last thing that's really a major difference between the two is the MOLLE webbing right here. These cummerbunds are almost identical, other than the fact that mine is multicam and yours is not. But this webbing here, mine is actual like nylon webbing, whereas this one is just more of whatever material the actual plate carrier is made out of, just folded in on itself and folded into the MOLLE. So it's a little bit thicker as far as the actual material goes, and it feels like my stitching is a little bit more robust and better stitching. But this one, first off, you can't get the 1.0 anymore unless you buy it used from eBay. But even if you could, $220 is a deal on the 1.0. Versus, how much did you pay for this?
118 new, I think.
So 118 shipped, new, versus 220 used it's not a bad deal. I would recommend, if you are looking for a plate carrier and you're seriously considering the CryePrecision jumpable plate carrier, that you take a good look and good consideration.
And by the way, if you're not looking to get multicam on that, it's $50 out the door. If you're just looking to get something to train with that's black, coyote brown, or something like that, or gray, you can get them as cheap as $40.
Oh, another difference between the two as we switch over to the back. So as you can see, we are sized a little bit differently. So our cummerbund is adjusted a little bit differently, but it attaches to the plate carrier the exact same way. The major difference between the two that I see is that this one has a little carry handle here. Now, I wouldn't recommend that you actually drag somebody by this handle. I would recommend that you grab the shoulder pieces and drag them that way. But just for carrying the armor around, you can just hold this handle and walk around instead of having to hold it by anything else. But again, that is completely shooter's preference, and some people might not even care that that's there. But if you prefer to carry your armor that way when you're not wearing it, it's an option with this one.
It is not on the 1.0.
It is not on the JPC, the actual one. There's
now,
nothing here.
We do have one con to bring up. And we're not even sure if it's a true con yet. I haven't done a full test on it yet. The distance on each side between the end MOLLE, where his clips are and where mine are over there, might be different. As in, I don't think this part is centered on the Rothco.
I will say that is one of those quality control things that is the difference between expensive usually means quality control, and inexpensive usually means that certain small details might make it through the cracks. But overall, especially if you're like us and you're balling on a budget, if you can afford to pick up a CryePrecision, especially if it's in good condition like mine was, if it's on the used market,
Go ahead.
I would recommend that you go right ahead if that's what you really want. But if you're balling on a really tight budget, there is absolutely nothing wrong with this Rothco.
And $50 for a Coyote Brown or Ranger Green that you can change around and get training with for if you ever actually intend on getting a CryePrecision 2.0, because they're functionally the same with a few minor differences, is absolutely worth it in our opinion.
100%. And if nothing else, what I've gleaned from this is there are some instances where, while I don't want to support the Chinese Communist Party, Chinesium doesn't always mean bad. Sometimes when you're balling on a budget, that's all you got. So always train with what you've got, because, you know, if the two-way shooting range were to open up tomorrow, you got what you got, whether that's nothing or Chinesium. I would rather have something Chinesium that might not last as long as the real thing, but I would rather have that than nothing.
And to further emphasize, like, we don't have full experience with this. We haven't worn our kit to do a bunch of stuff in, but
I have actually.
he has.
Not
but I have
not this kit.
Not this one, but he's done stuff in his JPC. So if he's saying that this is comparable, then he means it. It's not just we're spitballing you guys. And our camera battery's about to die, so.
Nice. Well, that's all I had.
This is Mark in the editing studio. I am here to point out that there was one thing we forgot to mention on the plate carriers. Here, have some B-roll while I'll talk about it. So one of the things we forgot to do is point out that the buckles you see at the top part of the plate carrier, where the magazine/admin pouch comes built in, have been added by either Big Sarge or myself, so that we can put various placard systems onto our rigs and kind of use them in a couple various ways, depending on what scenario we might be going into. He's got a much larger rig that he's got set up, and I'm probably going to go with a little more a little more slick plate carrier, and just kind of more of a minimalist vibe. But that's something that we forgot to mention, and I figured I would put it here in the editing studio. So once again, thanks for watching the video, and we will see y'all next.